everyone, welcome to Whiteboard Friday. I'm taking the reins today as Rand and most of the rest of our crew are still down in San Jose at SES. Today I'm going to be talking about social media and some rules that go along with participating in that realm. We're launching a new guide on Monday, a new premium guide about social media and some tactics that you can use to optimize for 9 of the most valuable sites out there. For today, I'm just going to go over some rules that apply to a couple of them because, you know, 9's quite a lot and can't really fit it all on one whiteboard. First of all, we'll start down here. I didn't lay it out very well, sorry, it's my first Whiteboard Friday. We go over some rules that we like to abide by when we're dealing with social media and social news. In this case, put your politics aside before you start dealing with social media. A lot of people on sites like Dig and Reddit tend to fall either to the liberal side of things or the libertarian side of things. If you don't agree with them, you know, you can still play in that sphere. You don't have to agree with everything they say. Don't argue with them. Don't post comments that are inflammatory because, you know, you're going to get a bad reputation. People are going to dig your stuff down or vote your stuff down. You know, that's the way social media works. So try and leave politics at the door when you start dealing with social media. Secondly, if you're going to have something on one of these social news sites and you know about it in advance, you've planned for it, enable comment moderation before you make the effort to get on Dig or Reddit, because people can make some pretty mean comments, people can say some mean things and post, you know, bad language, stuff that you might not want to have in front of your regular audience. Thirdly, submit your site to StumbleUpon before somebody else does, because when you're the first person to submit it to StumbleUpon, you get to choose the title, the first review, the initial category and tag that your site gets appointed with. If you're not the first to stumble it, you can suggest to StumbleUpon that they change some of the tags and categories, but it's preferable just to be able to do it yourself. Back up to the top, we've got Delicious. One tip for Delicious is you can add people into your network on Delicious, and you can share links with them. Now, don't take advantage of this, because if you've added friends to your network on Delicious and you're constantly sharing the same type of links from the same websites, people are going to realize that you are effectively spamming them. The people who you add as friends or people who you add to your network don't necessarily have to be people that you know. They're probably going to be people that you see have that similar interest in the things that you do, similar interests to your to the things that are relevant to your business. But yeah, don't spam them. Share interesting content with them. You can share your own content with them. They're probably not going to know, but make sure you mix it up a bit. Down to Yahoo Answers. The point behind Yahoo Answers is, well, it's pretty obvious. Members ask questions and the community answers them. A lot of the answers are pretty silly. They're 1 or 2 words. They are pretty pointless. But if you weed through Yahoo Answers and you ask sensible questions, a lot of the time you do get sensible answers, and vice versa. If you answer questions sensibly, people will read your advice and take your advice, and you can also link out to websites in your answers underneath where it says, do you know your source, link to it here or add it here. If you answer questions in your sphere on Yahoo Answers, you can link out to your sites, but don't be in a rush to comment first or to answer first, because the way Yahoo Answers works, a question pops up, everybody answers it, and then either the person who asked the question or the community at large decide which answer is best by voting, or if the person who asked the question chooses the best answer, then that one automatically is the best answer. After 3 days, I think it's 3 days, along with the question, the only answer listed is the one that was chosen as best. So you don't need to rush to try and get your answer up there first. A lot of people do that. A lot of people type badly spelled, typo-filled one-line sentences and press enter so that they can be listed first underneath the question. Don't do that, because it won't be there in 3 days' time when the best question's been chosen. The other thing about the Yahoo Answers audience is that they actually, you know, if they bother to click through to your site, they're actually interested in the source, they're interested in reading what's on your site. From what we've seen of Yahoo Answers, people who come from that site tend to spend a lot of time, tend to click through a lot of pages on your site, so it's actually a far better resource than you might otherwise imagine. StumbleUpon, one tip for StumbleUpon. StumbleUpon doesn't require users or people whose content is on the site to go to the site very often. But if you want to see the reviews of your site or your page, stumbleupon.com, URL, and the URL of the site that you want to see the reviews for. This will show you how many people clicked thumbs up on your site, how many people reviewed it, and what they said about it, and what it was tagged with. It's really useful to be able to do that, because who visits StumbleUpon? I mean, you use the little toolbar, but you generally don't visit the site. Lastly, just a rule about social networking sites, MySpace, Facebook, and the rest. There's thousands of them. If you're using these sites to conduct social media campaigns, do not go around adding people as friends who you don't know. This is a pet peeve of mine. It doesn't happen terribly much on Facebook, but it does on MySpace. Every time you log in there, there's a band or an event or even random people who have added you as friends who you don't know and who you don't share any connections with, you know, professionally or otherwise. On LinkedIn, slightly different. You share a professional connection with somebody, it's okay to add them as a friend. You're adding them as a contact, a professional contact, rather than someone who you want to share photographs with, etc. So, but if you go around adding people as friends on these social networking sites, you get a reputation as a spammer. And what you don't want is somebody who you added as a friend, Jane Smith for example, just to deny your friend request and then see your brand or your website elsewhere and think, oh, those are the people who spammed me, sent me a spammy friend request on MySpace. That's the last reputation you want to start developing in social media. Instead, you want them to add you as friends, and how you get in front of them without dealing with them in their profile space is through groups, forums, etc., all the applications you get on social media sites where you get to talk with people, interact with people without having to add them as friends. So the social media guide will be launched on Monday. It's got all of the stuff plus a lot more. It's 55 pages, I think 15,000 words, which appeals to somebody like me who was an English major and had to deal in words and not numbers of pages. And Brandon will be back next week to take Whiteboard Friday. Have a good weekend.